I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Monday, June the 5th, where we're looking for a big Monday for your sale barns that have their sales on Monday. A lot of them might be on their summer schedules now, but if they're having a sale this Monday, should have a big day. Of course, Oklahoma City and Joplin should have big sales. Joplin's expecting 9,500 head, should have a similar big sale in the city in Oklahoma City. But they missed out on last week's big market because of Memorial Day, and they really didn't think they were missing out on much, because if you remember, a week ago Friday we had kind of a bearish cattle on feed report, and the board was down really hard, and it took quite a while for things to get to going last week, even after the Memorial Day holiday was over, because people were kind of scared to sell cattle and really unsure. But then the board was up every day on both live and feeder cattle futures. And if you look at your live cattle futures, August ended the week last week at 126.05, up $7.10. The June spot live cattle futures contract ended at 130.82, which is trying to run down cash, but still a $5.50 basis to what the weighted average is going to be close to for last week's trade. Feeder cattle futures for last week ended at August at 158.72, up 11.77. Wow, just really good markets. And your cash feeders for last week sold $3 to $6 higher. There were spots that were up to $10, $12 higher, just really active, and good demand from your farmer feeders up in the northern plains. They're looking, as they got their corn in the ground now, and most of them finished up with their beans too, they're not looking to turn much of a profit in, if any, on their row crops. So they're looking for another way to try to add value. A lot of them have on the farm storage, and they're going to try to buy some cattle. The cattle that they bought after they got done harvesting and fed at home made real good money, and they think maybe there's a chance to do that again. And you've kind of got to bet on the come on those deals, even if it doesn't look that way. You know that feeding cattle is a crapshoot, and if you're wanting to do it, you just kind of have to turn the blind eye to the risk and just go ahead and do it. But a lot of these financial institutions are wanting guys to hedge all the way up to their eyeballs. The ones that they may do that with a complete hedge, taking a short position there, have really had to pay through the nose on margin calls, both your feeder cattle guys and your fat cattle guys, and they're kind of balking at that now. But that's the way the banks are. They're always there for you until you need them. With your fat cattle trade for last week through Thursday, 85,500 head, and it wouldn't surprise me when they get them all totaled up for last week. It won't be a lot closer to 100,000 head, because they were still selling cattle at the top of the market on Friday and even Saturday. But your weighted averages are going to be close to 136.25 on live basis. Dress basis is going to be close to 215.15. Box beef last week was very active. Your ribeyes, boneless ribeyes choice, hit an all-time record high last week, and it was more of an honest all-time record high. You remember whenever your packers were trying to get enough choice product and enough cattle to fill those out front contracts that they had made, they raised the immediate delivery on the spot market so high that it almost trickled your trade down to nothing. Just, your end users were just buying hand-to-mouth, just what they absolutely had to have. And because the packers didn't really care if they sold anything anyway, they needed what they were producing to fill those contracts. Well, those values had come off a little bit. The prices on those cutouts has come off a little bit, and then now went back up. And that's more of an honest all-time record high as on those ribeyes, because we're just seeing so much demand for them, and there's not enough choice product out there to make those boneless ribeyes that those guys are wanting, because we got our big grilling holidays coming up with Father's Day and 4th of July be down the road before too long. But your choice select spread, because of that, last week hit an all-time record high for the way it's being put together through mandatory reporting at 28.36 on the spread between choice and select cutout values. Your slaughter was 23,000 larger than a year ago last week, so I've seen a good week there. We should have some huge weeks here this week and next week. Maybe the next 3 or 4 weeks on our slaughter should be way over 600,000, if wheel don't come off somewhere. Your real-time index on Beef Market Central ended the week on an 800-pound steer at 147.63. Like I said, should have a big day on your Monday sales. Friday, one big sale that they had was Fort Pierce, South Dakota, at 11,800 head for their 20th anniversary of their World Livestock Auctioneer Championship sale when they hosted it 20 years ago. Big bronc riding went along with it, and they're still having that. But feeder steers sold 8 to 12 higher than 2 weeks ago at Fort Pierce. Feeder heifers were $10 to $12 higher than 2 weeks ago on that big run. And one quote there they had was 1,278 head of 9-weight steers averaged 150.22, which is very impressive on that many head of cattle. But individual quote from Beef Market Central: Torrington Livestock Markets on Friday at 2:20 in the afternoon had 51 head of 1,018-pound steers bring 153.50. That's your feeder flash for Monday.